Good evening, all you lovely people. So I'm just gonna proceed this video once again with, if I have to cut it short all of a sudden, I'm very, very sorry. I have a newborn, so duty calls. But yeah, usually she stays asleep, so I don't think we'll have that issue. I just like to give you guys a heads up in case I'm like, oh, baby's crying, bye. So for today, we're gonna be talking like a little piece of skincare. Which is funny because my sister actually just messaged me, and she was like, she's got oily, acne-prone skin, and she was wondering, like, she went to go get some stuff. She's like, I've never really taken care of my skin, but now I want to. So she was asking me about, like, toners and BHAs and AHAs and all that. But today, we're not going to talk about, like, a whole bunch of stuff. We're just going to be focused around toners, and if time allows for it, I'll go briefly into serums. And for the sake of brevity, I'm not going to go too deep into detail. If you want to know more, I talk to people all the time as a skincare consultant, so you can always shoot me a message and I'll answer whatever questions you have. That being said, so toners. A lot of people don't think they're really necessary, but I personally think they're a necessary part of a good skincare regime. So what the heck is a toner? There are different kinds of toners. For me, I kind of switch between two. So the two toners that you can use are hydrating and balancing toners, or you can use acidic toners or acid toners. Do not use toners that have alcohol in them. That is like an old school concept, and it is horrible for your skin. A lot of people who hear about toners nowadays, they're like, oh yeah, I don't use that. That's for oily prone skin. Because toners used to like strip the oils out of your face. So if you didn't have oily skin, they would really cause like major breakouts or redness or sensitivity. No alcohol toners, ever, ever, ever. Like, you're looking for hydrating, soothing, and acid toners. And believe it or not, the word acid is not scary, okay? Like, I know it sounds scary, but it's not necessarily something you're going to put on your face and it's going to melt away. These are good acids, and I'll talk about them in just a sec. I want to start with soothing and hydrating toners, because those are the ones that I tend to use the most. If you are over the age of 30, you're going to want to start using acid toners as well, though, and I'll tell you why. It has a lot to do with exfoliation. So for me, my favorite hydrating toners, this one right here, I'm pretty sure this is like $10. It's super affordable. This is January Labs, and it just like is I don't know, like you spray it on your face, and it's not heavily scented with perfumes. I'm pretty sure actually all the scents in it are natural. But it's got witch hazel, which can be very calming, and it like helps balance your pores out. And then it's got aloe. Those are like the first ingredient's water, but very soothing and very hydrating. One of the ingredients in here is glycerin. So glycerin's really good on your skin because it's already in your skin, and this just adds more to it. And basically what glycerin does is it sits on your skin and it pulls the water in your skin and like kind of pulls it to the surface, and then it also will pull water out of the air. So it's keeping your skin hydrated, which will give you like a plumping effect. When your skin gets dehydrated, that's when you start seeing more fine lines and your skin looks really dull. I mean, you can see my skin right now. I don't have anything on it, but if it hits, there we go, kind of like right here. It's basically like a restorative glow, which a lot of people, when I talk to them about skincare, they're like, oh, my skin's fine. I have good skin. Just because you're not breaking out doesn't mean you have good skin. You might not have breakouts or damage now, but as you get older, a lot of your damage you will start seeing once you get into your 30s, especially sun damage, because a lot of people are like, oh, I've never worn sunscreen before, and I'm just fine. Well, guess what? The sun damage accumulates over like the first 20 years of your life, and then it slowly reveals itself as you get into your late 20s to 30s. So if it hasn't shown up yet, it's going to. 80%, that's like a huge percentage. 80% of your premature aging is going to be due to sun damage, which I'm getting off subject. Sunscreen is for another day. But yeah, so January Labs, For people on a budget, this is an amazing toner. It's hydrating, it soothes your skin. Also, another great thing for toner, so because it has like humectant properties and the water is going to be sitting there on your face, so water has a very, 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 very small molecular level compared to any products you're going to put on afterwards. So it acts like a carrier. So if you like spritz your face with your toner, not only is it calming and hydrating your face, but it's also going to, like, those serums that you will put on after your toner, it will pull those serums deeper into your skin and make them work a lot better. So yeah, that's a huge plus, especially like when I am using, I won't use it with a vitamin A product, but when I'm using like hyaluronic acid or vitamin C serums, or even just like, this is from Tatcha. I love Tatcha. It's like one of my favorite brands. She's super pricey, but her stuff really works well. So it's like worth the money. And it like comes in these tiny little packages, but it lasts forever. So it's worth the investment for me. But yeah, any serums that you use, if you have sprayed a toner on before, it's going to carry it deeper into your skin and it's going to be a lot more effective. So yeah, hydration, balancing. Oh, that's another thing. So your face is naturally acidic. It sits between like a 4 and a 5 on the pH scale, whereas water, I believe, is at a level 7. So when you go to wash your face and then you clean it off with some water, you kind of take your acidic level over to the alkaline side, and a toner is going to bring it back down and balance it out. And that's what people mean when they're saying like, oh, this is a balancing toner. It takes your face back down to the acidic level it's supposed to be at. And it will also like soothe and calm redness. Like if you tend to have sensitivity in your face, like after you cleanse and everything, obviously, like if you're getting a good cleanser for your skin type, you shouldn't have any redness. But if you're just, your skin's irritated overall, look for a toner that has like rose water, not rose scented water. Do not do that, because that's going to have harsh alcohols in it and like unnatural perfumes. You don't want that. My favorite is, this is Herbivore, and this is their rose coconut water, and I am obsessed with it. It just like, it's just this beautiful light misting on your face, and it's got like just the hinting smell of rose, and it's so, so, so gorgeous. Like, and it comes in like this little pink, it's not pink tone because it's natural, but you can kind of tell it's got like a blush tinge to it. Anyway, that's these are my two favorites. I like the Herbivore Rose and Hibiscus, and then the January Lapse. This is a little bit more pricey. I think this is like $20 something, a little over 20 bucks, but this one's only 10, and this, I'm like, this is amazing for $10. I love January Labs. So toners, they restore balance in your face. They can do, so ingredients, like if you flip the bottle over and you look at your ingredients, hi Lauren, you're gonna want to look for things like glycerin, hyaluronic acid, rose water. Make sure it's like, I forget what the actual term is called. I think it's like, it's from the damask rose. It's like rose damascena extract or something like that. This, I'm just going to read the back of the January Labs one that I really like. So it's water, and then it's got witch hazel, aloe, sodium PCA, Rosa damascena flower. There we go, Rosa damascena flower. Oil extract, and then it's got the glycerin, panthenol, which is just what is the word I'm looking for? It's makes your skin feel soft. It has it helps things cling. Horse chestnut extract, super hydrating. It has linalool licorice extract, which is super brightening. Licorice extract, if you see licorice in any sort of serum or face wash or whatever, really great brightening. It brightens up your complexion and your skin tone. But yeah, look for things like that. Hydrating, plumping. But yeah, the toner, multitasker there. But going into serums, see, like toner isn't really like, it does a bunch of amazing little jobs, but it's pretty basic. So if you think that toner isn't essential, I think it really is, especially if you want like you want to up your game on skincare. So going into serums, I'm gonna just grab 2 that I use. I have other ones. I like to switch them up because Your skin can get used to things, so I like to kind of like rotate between different serums so that my face isn't getting too used to one thing. So I mentioned hyaluronic acid look for hyaluronic acid in toners. You can also use them as serums. But before I show you the serums and tell you about what kinds there are and what they do, what the hell is a serum? So a serum is going to be where you're going to spend your most money. You don't necessarily want to buy a super cheap serum because the formula is key. So a serum is basically when they take all these active ingredients and they break them down into smaller molecules so that they can penetrate into the levels of your epidermis where they can do the most good. A lot of people will spend a whole bunch of money on a moisturizer when a moisturizer they're not all just occlusive, but basically it's a coat for your skin. So your moisturizer is going to sit on top of your face and seal everything up that you just put inside of it, like your serums and your toners. But it doesn't like penetrate deep into your skin. It's just not able to. Like, it's just science. The molecular size of the ingredients that most moisturizers have, they just can't get that deep into the skin. That's where your serums come in. Like, a lot of people will buy a moisturizer and they'll be like, oh, it's got these amazing ingredients in it. But it's kind of like a flash treatment, because when you wash your face, most people, they literally like wash their face and rinse within like 10 seconds. You're supposed to wash your face and like massage it for about minimum 20 to 30 seconds because your skin needs time to actually like get clean, and the ingredients in your cleansers actually need to be able to pull some stuff out of your face. So if you're just like washing real quick and then rinsing off, you're wasting your money and your product. So not just that, but when you've got like these wonderful ingredients in your cleanser, it treats your skin for a second, but then you wash it all off. Your skin does not absorb that quickly. It just doesn't. That's where serums come in, because you wash, you tone, and then you put your serum on, and your serum is going to be rubbed into your face, and you're not rinsing it off. It just sits there, and then you're going to seal it all in with your moisturizer. So serums are where you want to invest your money in. And I'm not saying you have to drop like hundreds of dollars. Like, I think good serum range, anywhere from 30 to 50. If you're paying like $100-something for a serum, odds are you're not necessarily just paying for packaging. Sometimes you are. That's why you have to look at the ingredients and know what you're looking at, because there are some companies who like put their serums in pretty little packaging and it's way overpriced. But sometimes the pricing, like the serum, if it's in simple packaging, the odds are you're paying for the research and the trials that went behind that particular serum, because they had to get the formula just right. I always read the crap out of reviews because that's the most trustworthy source for me. I'm not necessarily, everybody wants you to buy their product, so they're going to always say amazing things. So always read the ingredients list, pay careful attention to the packaging, and always read reviews. So yeah, serums are the active ingredients that can penetrate a lot deeper into your epidermis than any of your other products. So invest there. Now, the products that I like to use, being in my 30s, I was getting like really dull skin. I mean, it's not dull right now because I've been taking care of it for quite some time, but I always thought I had good skin. I mean, before I ever got my cystic acne, but before that I'm like, no, I have fine skin, I never break out. But my skin was so dull and it had like built up so much dead skin cells that once I did start a skincare regime, I was like, holy crap, I never knew my skin could look like this. But I love to use, this is hyaluronic acid. So hyaluronic acid is basically sugar molecules. And I don't know if you've ever like not sealed your sugar canister or bag up properly and water got in it and it clumped and hardened. So that is basically how this works. These are little sugar molecules, and hyaluronic acid will sit in your skin just like glycerin, and it pulls water into it, so it keeps your skin plump and hydrated. And that's why I really like to always have a hyaluronic acid serum, because the most important thing for me right now is hydrating my skin. I drink a lot of water, but that's not necessarily going to help plump your skin. I mean, it's going to keep you hydrated, it's going to help, but having a hyaluronic acid serum is like a must for me. I usually try and get hyaluronic acid in my toners, my serums, and my moisturizers. That's how great of an ingredient it is. And then niacinamide is another great serum. That's like, this guy here I think was like $6. So Inky List and The Ordinary, they're pretty affordable brands. I think the reason it's so affordable is because they're more often than not single ingredient formulas. So instead of like having a formula with supporting ingredients in there on top of the main serum ingredient, the Inky List and The Ordinary, you're just going to have that one ingredient, which it will work. It might not work as fabulously as some of the other serums that have like multiple ingredient formulas, because a lot of times your active will work better if it has like other things in it helping it like do its job. A good example would be a vitamin C serum. Vitamin C helps fight off free radicals. So basically when your body uses energy, it creates a byproduct, which is the free radical. It's just kind of unavoidable. And basically a free radical is a molecule that comes back and attacks your skin cells and oxidizes them, which accelerates the aging process as well. So vitamin C neutralizes free radicals. So having them sitting in your skin in a serum is a very good idea, because it's like basically fighting a battle. But the thing with vitamin C is it's pretty unstable when it hits like, I believe it's light and oxygen. So it's good to look for a vitamin C serum with, I think it's called ferulic acid and vitamin E. Basically, those two ingredients stabilize the vitamin C so that when it destabilizes, when it's oxygenated or the light hits it, it basically, like, the ferulic acid and the vitamin E kind of like bring it back up again, like stabilize it again. But not going too much into the science. I don't want to bore you guys. This isn't supposed to be a science class. It's a skincare class, which I guess they kind of go hand in hand. But anyway, niacinamide. Let's just talk about what that does. So this is good for people with oily skin tone or oily skin types, because they have done so many studies on this and they haven't quite figured out exactly how it works, but niacinamide will get into your pores and it somehow regulates them and their sebum production. So if your skin or your pores are overproducing oil and you are using a niacinamide serum daily, it will start to like tone down your oil production. Not just that, but it's also good for dry skin types or dehydrated skin types, because niacinamide promotes your ceramide production. So ceramides are a whole other thing. So if your skin cells were like little bricks, ceramides are going to be the mortar that seals all your skin cells together. And basically what it does is it seals your skin cells, fills in the gaps, keeps the moisture in your face, and keeps like pollutants and UV and all that other damaging crap that surrounds us all the time. It keeps it out of your skin. So niacinamide, multi-purpose. Vitamin C, briefly mentioned, yeah, it combats free radicals, but it also helps with hyperpigmentation. So I used to have a lot of brown scars all around my face, and after using vitamin C consistently for about a month, it started like fading all of that pigmentation that I had gotten from not necessarily picking at my face, but I just very light complected. So when my cystic acne was at its worst, even if I didn't touch the cyst, it had done so much damage all on its own that I would be left with like pigments of where the cyst had been, and the vitamin C cleared that all up. So those are just to name a few: hyaluronic acid, niacinamide, vitamin C. Those are like the most popular serums, I would say. But then you have like combo serums, like this is the Tatcha one that I showed you before. It's a dewy serum, but it's got a combination of things like hyaluronic acid, but it's also got like fermented rice water, which is like a huge anti-aging ingredient. If you look into it, you'll see like amazing studies on it. There was they discovered, I think it's called SK2. It's like a really expensive skincare brand, but they got their ingredient, their main star ingredient, because they noticed like at this sake plant sake factory. These old wizened Japanese guys had like these crippled, like crinkly old faces, but their hands looked like 20 years younger. So they were just like, oh, it must be something like with the rice wine. And so they did all their research and then got their ingredient from like fermented rice. So that's a pretty interesting story that I read. But yeah, so serums are going to be more expensive. Definitely worth the investment. They do make a huge difference. Your toners. And that pretty much covers it. I will talk real quickly about acid toners. So acid toners are, you have AHAs and BHAs. Alpha hydroxy acids, AHAs, are more commonly you're going to see glycolic and lactic acid. So these are good for resurfacing, like if you don't have any deep set issues with acne. And you just have like redness or pigmentation, rough patches, uneven skin tone, dullness, like your skin's very dull. Usually when your skin is dull, it's either dehydrated or you have a buildup of dead skin. So your corneum corneum, I'm like really halfway asleep right now, so I'm trying to remember all these terms, and I never write anything down or plan anything out, so I might mix up my term. But basically there's a layer of dead skin that sits on top of your face that you don't want to completely obliterate, because that's like your first line of defense. But you want to take off like the surface most layer of dead skin, because it's going to reveal like the fresher skin underneath. You will have a very dull, non-glowy face if you don't exfoliate. Our skin's really good at exfoliating, and then once we hit the age of 25, it slows really, like it gets really slow. So usually you have a cell skin, your skin will turn over its cells every 28 to 30 days. It can take up to 50 days as you get into your 30s. So that's where like the skin starts getting really dull. You might notice like some more fine lines, and that's not necessarily because you're aging, it's just because there's buildup of dead skin and you need to like clear it out. So that's where acid toners come in. Basically they just dissolve the glue that holds all those dead skin cells together and takes them off. I prefer acid toners over scrubs because there's too much room for error when you're using those exfoliating scrubs. You can do micro tears, you can sensitize your skin, and you can overwork it, and you're supposed to be really gentle with the skin on your face. So an acid toner is kind of foolproof. You can either buy it in a bottle. Here, let me grab the one that I use a lot. Ooh, sorry. Okay, so this is just one. This is Summer Fridays. I love Summer Fridays brand. So this is called Soft Reset AHA Exfoliating Solution. So what I do is on days that I am not using a vitamin A product, I will take like a little cotton pad and I will put this solution all over it, and I just swipe it all over my face, around my eyes, basically covering everything, including my neck. Don't forget your neck when you're doing skincare. Otherwise, you're going to have like this beautiful young looking face when you're 50, and then your neck's going to be all crepey and saggy. Anyway, so I like to use this. I don't have acne issues, so I don't really tend to use salicylic acid, which is a beta hydroxy acid, a BHA. It's the only BHA that they've done extensive research on. But glycolic acid is going to be a smaller molecule, so it'll get deeper and it helps you like break up all that dead skin. Lactic acid is good for beginners. If you've never used acids before, I would start with a lactic acid because it's more gentle and it doesn't penetrate as deep. So if you're just going straight in with a glycolic acid, you might feel some burning sensation. You don't want it to burn. You might tingle and slight burning, like very slight, is to be expected when you're using an acid for the first time. I felt it when I started using them, but I would only use my acids once every 3 days to give my skin time to acclimate, and now I can use it every day and I don't feel anything. That doesn't mean it's not working, it just means your skin has acclimated to the acid that you're applying to it. So yeah, start with lactic acid if you've never used acids before, and then you can get into glycolic acid. That's for surface skin treatment. Now, if you do have oily skin and tend to get acne breakouts or just frequent breakouts in general, that's where you want to get into using salicylic acid. So AHAs are water soluble. They cannot penetrate into the oils of your pores. Salicylic acid is oil soluble, so it can get into that pore and clean out all the dead skin cells, the buildup, the oil buildup, and it can really help turn over the cells. But even with acne, combining a glycolic with your salicylic acid is ideal, because acne comes from, obviously, the bacteria. I think it's called P. acnes. So that type of bacteria, which everyone has on their skin, some people just overproduce it, in combination with your dead skin cells building up and too much oil production, and all of it gets clogged into your pore, and voila, you've got acne. So having an AHA to help you shed those buildup of skin cells so they don't get stuck in your pores is going to help. And then the salicylic acid is going to help clear out the excess sebum. So using both is key. I tend to go back and forth. I will use my acid toner every other day, but I use my calming and soothing and hydrating toners every single day. And usually you cleanse and then you tone and then you do your serums. So that's the order that you'll go in. But that's all I've got on toners today. Probably went a little bit longer than I expected to, but yeah. So we covered the 2 different types of toners. You got your acid toners, which are really good if you're older, because it's going to help you shed those skin cells. And then your hydrating toners, hydrating and balancing toners, which are good for any age and all ages at all times. I will actually carry a rose toner in my purse, and I will spritz my face throughout the day if I'm not wearing makeup, because it just feels really nice, and your skin always appreciates the drink of water. But I am going to hop off now, and I will see you guys on Saturday for my next makeup tutorial. Hopefully I can keep doing these videos because Cora's being so cooperative, but I can hear her fussing, so I gotta go feed her. You all have a lovely night. If you have any questions, shoot me a message and I would be happy to help. Thank you. Have a good night. Bye.